Hello, everybody. Welcome, TCI family, Jonathan's Refuge, and all of our supporters and followers. I thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's Thursday, church in Marysville at 6 o'clock. So, everyone is, of course, already stuffed from 6 to 7, and now it's 7 o'clock. So, the message is coming forth. Let's delve right into it. As you can tell, I'm not at my office, I'm on the road. In our son's fifth wheel, actually, and going on a trip. But I want to talk for a second about KISS and what it means. KISS means keep it simple, student. I know there was another word you probably learned the phrase with, but I never liked calling people stupid. Don't get me wrong. Are there stupid people out there? Yeah. Have I been stupid in my life? Absolutely. But I don't like the term stupid. So keep it simple, student. We're all students until the day we die. And that's important. But what does it mean? Keep it simple. Well, let's delve into what the Bible says. And I can go through all the different spiritual, if you want to talk about the Vedas and the Quran and everything else out there, they all have the same theme of this message. But Jesus himself, the Christian faith, they believe that Jesus was the greatest preacher of all, right? He had a 3-year ministry. 1, 2, 3. 3 years. And in 3 years, look what has happened, right? Yet, his longest sermon, and you can find it in the book of Matthew, starts off in chapter 5, and I think it goes all the way as far as almost 7. But if you read and take your stopwatch and clock it, the Sermon on the Mount was less than 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Now, here's what's funny. I have seen preachers take that 12-minute message that the Son of God spoke and think they can make it better by dragging it out for an hour. All you did was showboat, make yourself look sophisticated, throw in some amazing Greek and Hebrew stuff, throw out some words that half the people in your audience don't even know what it means. Because the larger the vocabulary, the more intellectual I am. I remember one time at seminary, and I was young, and I did the same things. I used those big words. I had 37 points on my first part of the message, and only 112 on the second part. By the time we were done, it was Sunday night. We started Sunday morning, but now it's Sunday night. And then I realized it wasn't making an impact. You see, the Christ on that mountain, he didn't go out and advertise, by the way. There was no television ads. There was nothing. He didn't have social media like we all have. He didn't have any of those things, an email list. He didn't have a mailing list, a phone list. He had none of this stuff. He just went to this hill. He saw a lot of people, and he was like, I like to go to the hills when I see people. He likes to go to the mountains. I like that about Jesus. Me and him got a lot in common. I like to go to the mountains too. And when I can't get to the mountains, I like to go to lakes. Just like him. He likes the oceans and lakes also. So I look at the life of the Christ in this moment. This is about 9 months into his ministry. So he started at age 30, and then he died at age 33. Well, this was 9 months in. So he was 30 years and 9 months old when he preached the sermon, but he was 9 months into his ministry, and he preached one of the most powerful sermons to this day. And everyone keeps trying to polish it and go in depth. And it's okay to go in depth. Please don't. I use Greek words to help people understand things. Hebrew words, Aramaic. The word sin isn't even in the Bible. That's a great one as an example. How do you know that? Because the word sin didn't stick in any books until old King James in England decided to make the King James version of the Bible. And the word Gehenna the word sin became missing the mark. And it changes everything when you think of it. Wait, go and miss the mark no more? I can do that. So sometimes it's okay to delve, but we got to be careful to keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it short. The brain, science has proven that the Christ knew this 2,000 plus years ago, that you don't yak on for hours. Now, there are exceptions to this. My dear friend Tony Robbins, I love that guy. And he does what they call full immersion. So when you go to his seminars, it is 10-hour days, nonstop, 10-hour days. Your brain is inundated and overloaded, but it is what they refer to as an immersion process. So that is important, and those can be done. But that's not every day. You don't see, I go to that seminar every year. I go to that seminar. It's a 4-day event. It's 50 hours. You are exhausted by the time you're done. And yet everything in there is stuck in you. There's a lot of data stuck in your brain and your heart and your soul and your mind. It's just sitting there. But who's going to do that every week? I don't know about you. I don't have 4 days every week to go sit with my friend Tony for 50 hours. I have a life to run. So you get these little teachings throughout our life, right? You go to a church service, you go to a mosque, you go to the synagogue, you go to the different places. You go to meditate with the Buddhists. You head up to a retreat. These are all with the Sikhs. These are all important to do. But what's interesting is that sometimes we think we can do it better than everybody. And so we splash a bunch of stuff on it. And at 47, going on 48 years of age, here's the one thing I've learned about speaking publicly. And you, by the way, if someone says, well, what do you know about speaking publicly? I'm actually one of the few people that can say I'm at the 1% of the world in that realm. Okay. This mouth has learned to master sales. I was so good at what I did in speaking publicly in front of crowds that people would throw their credit card up on stage. So when I speak to you about this topic, make no mistake. I know you see a lot of tattoos and you're like, geez, the guy looks like he's a little scary. But you want to listen to these words because I'm trying to help you understand a secret. The data they say in the brain that we listen to, we don't hear anything after 25 minutes. That's why if you ever notice, go look on the YouTube channel. Look at every sermon. I think I only have one on there 30 minutes. And that is like nothing compared to almost all messages that are out there. Most people in spiritual worlds speak for an hour. And that's really on a being justly maybe 45 minutes to the guys that say, I cut it short. 30 minutes? There's a few of them out there. Absolutely. 25 or 15? No. See, I aim to do my messages in 15 minutes because the Christ, again, did his best sermon and it was less than 12 minutes. So what you need to do is to keep it as simple as possible and make the most impact. So it's keeping it simple so that you can get the largest impact and get the largest and greatest results in people's lives that we speak into on a daily basis. It can apply to marriage. I'm married. This is my second marriage, and we've been together now for 3 years. And you guys hear me say all the time, get a mentor. I've got I actually have 3 financial mentors, but I have one that specializes in just stocks. That's all I talk to this mentor about. The other one is an investor specifically in REITs, real estate investment trusts, and real estate transactions. And then the other one deals with emerging things, all the stuff from Bitcoins and all these different kinds of companies that are out there, these different .coms and different things in the markets that are new. So I've got a bunch of, I got old school, I got new school, I got a little bit of the solid, the billionaire club, the ones that most people made their money in America off of real estate. So I keep my mentors in all aspects. Well, the same thing with my marriage. So I failed in a marriage. My wife and me in our first marriage, we failed. And it was horrible, by the way, or horrific. So I don't teach people. I don't tell you how to get through a marriage successfully. I go to a counselor and I learn from them, a mentor. And I've done this my whole life. And one of the interesting thing was my wife and me had a great breakthrough when we realized, sometimes when you're going over things that maybe you don't want to see happen in your marriage or you're not happy with your spouse, we can go on. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. And so can you, and so can she, and so can he. So we've learned a new little tool, which is KISS. Keep it simple, student, or in our case, keep it simple, sweetheart. Keep it to under 2 minutes, whatever it is, whatever the thing is that I need to tell my wife, listen, this is driving me nuts. This is the situation. I can't handle 2 minutes. Get it done in 2 minutes. Get it all out in 2 minutes. And when you can limit these conversations to a shorter span, you're going to focus on really what's the point, really the thing you want changed, not all the BS that you're saying and not all the fluff. Get to the real deal. I'm going to go back to business and tell you about an example. It's my coffee story. Most of you know I drink coffee. I don't drink it right now. I'm taking a 4-month hiatus from it for medical reasons. But I usually get a big, if you go to Starbucks, I think they call it a venti. So I get a venti, which is like a large coffee. And I get 5 shots espresso, iced. And I haven't put a splash of cream in it. Now, where did I get this drink from? Well, here's the story. I was working in Eugene, Oregon. And the guy who owned the company I worked for, I was not so new to the company, but I was only a few months. So I was one of the newer hires. And I had my crew, and I brought my guys from another group, and we were crushing it. We were killing it. The average person, the sales groups, they'd see 10 prospects to sell, and they'd sell 3. And on a good day, they'd sell 4. My guys were cranking out 60%, 50%. Some of them 70%. But at the end of the day, between that 50, 60 mark was a lot of them. There was some interesting numbers. And again, it varied depending on what state and what regions, but it was almost always consistent, but it had a couple ups and downs depending on the time of year and things. But here's what's interesting. I heard he's coming to see me. The man who owns the company, he's a billionaire. This guy is a legend on Wall Street. There's movies actually about him. I'm not going to say his name because he's a private man, and I respect him very much. This man is coming to see me. I was a young punk. I was great at what I did. Nobody could outsell me. Nobody touched my numbers in the earth. Nobody. And so I go ahead and I'm waiting that morning. He shows up and he says, "Hey guys," we meet him in the lobby, myself and my executive VP. And he says, "Whatever you do, just do your routine. I'm just going to follow you and watch what you do. I want to see how you're crushing it over here and why the rest of my teams in this country are down at 30%. I've sent all of my other, guys to see you and everyone else, but no one can figure it out. So it's time that I get in here and figure this out because I need to change the model of how we sell to get results like you do." So of course, right, my ego, my head's swelling. I'm getting... And so I said, "Sure. The first thing we're going to do is get some coffee." He goes, "Let's go." So we walk across the street from the Hamptons. We get ourselves a cup of coffee. We're at Starbucks. And he said, I asked him, "Go ahead, please order." He goes, "No, I insist, you guys." So I order. I don't remember the exact detail of the drink at the time, but it was a venti, triple shot, white mocha, double pump, sugar-free. It literally took like a million years to say all these stupid things. My partner, the executive VP, comes up and orders the exact same drink. It's the same one we both get every single day. We turn, it's his turn to get the drink, and he orders, and this is just, to me, was hilarious. He orders 4 shots espresso, hot. That was it. So we go and sit down. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 3 shots, actually. It was 3 shots. And we go and sit down at the table, and he looks at me and he says, "Hey, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for letting me come and follow you today. Thank you for showing me what I needed to see." And I was shocked. I'm like, "You haven't seen anything yet. We just got coffee. Wait until you see the show. You will be surprised." He says, "No, I don't need to see the show. I don't need to see your sales presentations. I don't need to see your guys. I don't need to see anything. I've seen everything I need to know." I started to get upset and said, "Wait a second. You're telling me you're a billionaire. You flew all the way out here to see little old me because you saw that I'm one of the greatest out doing what we do. And now all of a sudden you know everything there is to know?" And he says, No, I don't know everything there is to know. But here's what I do know. I know that you're wasting my time and my money. Man, I about blew a lid. Of course, my ex-exec VP's kicking me because he's like, "It's the billionaire." And this guy's ruthless on Wall Street. So he's like, "How about we don't tick him off?" And I said, "No, I'm sorry. I don't care. You want to fire me? I'm so good at what I do. I got jobs anywhere I want, sitting on my butt, not even doing anything. Okay. So go ahead and fire me. But I want to know why you said you were coming to learn all the great things I'm doing and why you're leaving." He says, "Okay, I'll break it down for you." He takes his cup of coffee and puts it right in front of me, grabs my cup of coffee, puts it in front of his, grabs my Executive VP puts it in front of his, and he says, okay, why'd you guys order those 2 coffees? Is it because we like to get a coffee and we kind of talk about things and kind of go over our day? No. That specific coffee. Why did you get it? We triple shots. We like the espresso. It gets us up in the morning. Okay, why'd you get all the other stuff? The white chocolate, the triple pump, this caramel, whatever. And we're like, it tastes good. It's nice. He says, what'd that cost you? And I think at the time it was like $7. Maybe it was $6, somewhere around there. He takes his cup, same 3 shots of espresso, puts it down next to it. He says, my 3 shots cost me $1.50. He says, yours is for the same purpose. You bought it for the purpose of getting energy from caffeine. Yet you could have done it for only $1.50. Instead, you spent $6 or so on that, which means you're wasting $4.50 of my money and you're wasting my time. If I go in there, you might be getting 70% closes, 50% closes, and 60% closes every day. But that tells me you got way too much fluff in your seminar. You've got too many stories. You've got too many jokes. You've got too much stuff you're doing in between. Your sales guys and all of them included. And man, I'm getting heated. I'm ready to come across the table. I don't care if you're a billionaire or not. And then, of course, he says, now here's my card. I think you can get this up. I think you can get it up to somewhere in the neighborhood of solid 70%. And I think you can even get higher than that, maybe 75% closing. Call that number on the back. It's my personal cell phone. And then he says, and I won't say the exact words, he says, but if you blankety blank ever call me, other than for this one specific call, I will have you tarred and feathered. So I went ahead and I said, okay, got it. I won't do anything. So I went for the next 2 months. I tore everything of mine apart. I tore it all apart. My sales presentation, when I say mine, I had a huge organization. So I gave them their presentation. So I tore the presentation apart. I tore the stories apart. And guess what? The billionaire was right. I had the message that was so dragged out. It was so long that this is the end of it. This is the beginning. And the client was ready to buy here. We went past the close and we lost a lot, even though we were so good at what we were doing that we were crushing those numbers. So hear that. So I went back and I revamped it and I cut it down. I took all the fluff out. I got rid of the white chocolate, the triple crunch, whatever. And I got just to the espresso in the meeting. And we not only got everybody to 70%, we actually got up to 75 a few times. Now that's unheard of in that business. So I called. What's happening? This is JB. He's like, who is this? Jonathan Brown. Your number one sales guy running your number one organization. You better not be wasting my blankety blank. No, I'm not. I just want you to know I got there. You said get to 70. I did it. I took the fluff out, like you said. And he says, that's great. Congratulations. Now, you know what that tells me? That you were wrong. So if you focus on it more, you might be able to get to 80, even 90%. And he hung up the phone. I was so mad. I was like, are you kidding me? You're not happy with this? But what's the message? The message is simple. I learned to stop all the fluff. Cut it down. Keep it simple, student. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Stop putting all the stuff in there. When you preach a message or you teach a business lesson, keep it so simple that nobody can misunderstand it, which is what the Christ did in that Sermon on the Mount. He kept it so simple. There's no way to even misunderstand it. There's no needing for interpretation. It's just beautiful, simple, and easy to understand. Do this in your marriage. Do this in your business. Do this with raising your children. If you sit there and lecture your kids for 45 minutes, you're the idiot, not them, because they don't even contemplate about 5 minutes of what you say. Pick one simple topic, work on that, and move forward. And I promise you, you will see huge strides. You don't need to change everything. Just keep it simple. Get the fluff out. What fluff do you have in your life that you need to eliminate? What stuff in your life is fluff? And I'm talking everything, possessions included. What possessions in your life are holding you back? I got a friend that won't go on vacation because he's got 3 houses, the one he lives in, the vacation home, and another one that's like an Airbnb. He's always stressed out. He's always saying, I need to go on vacation. Well, why don't you go? I just have too many things. maybe you need to cut some of that stuff out, sell one of the houses, get rid of one of those things so that you can free yourself, break it down, keep it simple. Now, I know you're saying, well, I can't do that. I'm sophisticated. Listen, you're talking to a man who owns, I'm not even going to go into it, but many companies, okay? Companies that are making millions of dollars. These companies are worth right now. Offers on the table for millions of dollars to buy them from me. I've got employees strewn across the state of Washington. I've got a church organization with bishops and members around the globe. We are touching hearts everywhere. I've got a men's home, Jonathan's Refuge, that works with inmates coming out of prison. We have a ministry in prison. We have a ministry with gangbangers and mobsters and cartel members that is so dangerous and so complicated that if we do it wrong, people die. Not, oh, they got offended. No, they get their head chopped off and they get sent to their wife and children. So you want to talk about stress? I live with it every day. Like all of you that say you're too complex to make it so simple. But that's the key. I keep it simple. Listen to my messages. I don't go into some elaborate spiel with you. I talk to you real talk, simple talk that you and me can understand. And if you just applied one of these lessons to your life on a weekly basis, this little 15, 17, 20-minute message, 21 minutes message, under 25, like my goal is every week, you can go ahead and change your life. And you know what? I know some of you are going, well, I'm too old for that. I'm 80 years old. I'm 65. Yeah, Colonel Sanders was in his 62 when he got out and retired from his career and realized, oh, crap, I have no money. I can't live off of Social Security. It was like less than $200 a month to get. And that's only when he decided to create the famous Kentucky Fried Chicken. But he had to go and get turned down almost 1,000 times before he got a yes and got a deal and became a billionaire. Don't tell me you're too old, and don't tell me you're too wise. If you're the person that says, I'm too wise and I know all this stuff, you're the biggest one that needs to listen to this. If you're the one saying you don't understand, I am the one that understands everything, and I can tell someone how to do it. I have this. You don't. That's just immature, and that is, you might be 70, but it doesn't mean you're not immature. I know a lot of 80, 90-year-olds who are really immature. They never grew up. They never took the lessons and learned them and applied them so they didn't make those mistakes again. They just keep making the same stupid mistakes year after year, and then now they're 80 and they're like, oh, I'm smart because I'm old. Being old doesn't make you smart. It just makes you old. Being smart can be a little child who understands this simple principle. That's why when the Christ was asked by one of the rabbis, how do I do this born again thing, right? And he was talking about the words that were being used in these messages. And he said, well, you got to be like a little child. You know, have faith like a little child. And if you have faith like a child, it's simple faith. It's easy to understand. Mom and dad said, I love you. They love me. How do you know? I just know. They said it once. I heard it. I know it. There's this simple faith of a child that we all need. So lose your ego, lose all your degrees. I've been knighted 3 times by kings. I have been I've done all kinds of stuff that I got accolades upon accolades. I've got books written about. I've got books where they're actually it's always funny when someone reads one and go, hey, did you know you were in a book? Yeah, I know. I used to kind of be a big deal. And then I took that big deal ego and I balled it up and I said, boom, get out of here. I want to get back to just being simple. Keep it simple, sweetheart. I love you guys. God loves you. Stop clogging up everything you do with all of this stuff and stop justifying why you can't change. Make the change, one step, one project, keep it simple, and you will see progress. I love you guys. I got a great message coming to you next week. I'm going to be coming to you from California with a couple of the bishops of the church. So we'll be out camping, so we'll record the message, and then we'll get it to everybody. I love you guys. Please look on the website. Check out the website, www.inclusion.church, and see what's going on. There's an amazing article that my one of our bishops, John Sarti, who's also one of our sons, did this amazing article. It was so amazing, and it is my heart and soul and the lessons that I teach. But as a man who has getting his degree in psychology, he lays it out in a whole nother way that I just loved. And it was simple yet profound. So please dig into that message and see what was said. It's very exciting stuff. Look for the Real Talk this month coming from me also on there. I love you guys. God bless. Take care.